Here we are. It's a Locked On crossover episode. And guess what I was told today? West Virginia, pretty confident they're going to get this thing turned around versus Oklahoma State. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. He is Cody Stovall. Welcome back into a Locked On crossover episode between West Virginia and Oklahoma State. You guys are amazing. Thanks for being here. Going to be brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Right now with Mazda, look, here's the deal. We put the same drive into every detail, right? Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, because there's more to a Mazda, because there's more to you. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia and Locked On Oklahoma State your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we have the number one sports podcast in the country right now. Over 50 million views a month, Cody, where we're talking about your team, the Mountaineers and the Pokes, every single day. Cody, how you doing, man?
Well, pretty good. It's kind of crazy that we both are viewing it today through lenses of optimism. So this one should be pretty exciting. Listen, this is going to be a medal test for Oklahoma State. There's been a lot of conversations about whether this team is a cohesive unit and can they perform as a cohesive unit. That hasn't happened yet, but the Cowboys have a pretty epic run here with tournament teams, or at least bubble teams, and Houston in the season. If Oklahoma State finds a way to get this thing done, we put ourselves right back into that bubble conversation that we were just in last week. So color me excited, man.
What was crazy is not only did West Virginia lose its second straight game after losing to Utah and TCU, but they went up in KenPom and stayed on the bubble for Joe Lunardi. I can only imagine the reason that would happen is because of the schedule in front of them, and that West Virginia is probably either going to be – it's probably like right now, tonight's game is probably either a pick 'em or Oklahoma State's favored by very little, because like both teams have the same record. Both teams are playing similar ball right now. Both teams are roller coaster. So I do think, and then you look at obviously BYU and how nicked up they are in West Virginia. You get them at just a great time compared to the rest of the year. So this is going to be interesting, man. Like I said, it's a must win for both teams.
Correct.
I'm going to go ahead and shell out kind of, just what I've been told here. And, I spoke with a player today and just wanted to get a temperature for how they felt. And they really, truly do, because I was probing it, feel confident today. They feel really good. They feel like they've fixed some issues that they've been having, and that we're going to see some things that are different, I was told. So I don't know what that is. We'll see.
I mean, maybe they're confident because we've played like certified ass cheeks the last 3 games. That probably could help in raising West Virginia's readiness for this game. But yeah,
right,
it's going to be wild, man.
Well, the one thing that they told me was OSU's defense is attackable. So, they give up a lot, and it's like a lot of the defenses that we've played have bothered us, even though they haven't been rated very high because of the length. And Oklahoma State is probably one of the least lengthier teams that we'll play compared to some of the teams that we played this year. So I think that's going to give our guards a chance to get more shots up, because we play well. Like obviously Honor Huff's 5'10", and when we played really long and lengthy teams, it's bothered him. I'll be curious to see tonight if Oklahoma State tries to throw somebody really big on him because of that, even if maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. Is there somebody that Oklahoma State could toss on him that is just a stud on-ball defender? Do you guys have anybody like that?
It doesn't appear as though we do this season.
Right. That's what I was hearing.
Length, hand size, arm width, things of that nature. The guy you're talking about would traditionally be Christian Coleman. So he's going to have a big moment for Oklahoma State tonight. But the biggest difficulty has been our 2 star players. Anthony Roy can drop 30 burgers whenever. Victorious Miller has proven he can drop 25, almost 30 points, but they have yet to do it together. That's the biggest glaring need of this team, is for those 2 guys to get hot on the same night. And for whatever reason, That just has not happened. And then you look over at the sideline, and sometimes they look engaged. Sometimes they don't look like they're paying attention to anything. It's been kind of confusing because the talent is visibly there, but we don't play as a team, and our 2-star players have not played together cohesively in a game yet this season. If there is a night that both Anthony Roy and Victorious Miller get hot, that's probably going to be a dub, even against a team like a Houston. That's what I'm saying. We have players good enough to do some stuff, but we're so inconsistent and we're so undedicated to defense that it has put us in this precarious situation. Sure, somebody can look. The last time I looked, we were last place, dead last in the Big 12 in defense, and you guys were like second in at least efficiency ratings, which is completely different than our conversation we had, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, that it looked like West Virginia's defense was giving up some of the same things that Oklahoma State's defense, and you guys have batcheted down the hatchet, and you guys have found a way to, claw back into this conversation of making the NCAA tournament. So
West Virginia's got a unique defense in that they give up a lot of threes, but it's a top 10 defense. I don't know how better to explain it. It's because we play a pack line style defense. You're not getting into the paint. Even the best teams in the country haven't been able to get into the paint on West Virginia. The one team that was able to get in the paint against West Virginia was Utah. That's the only team. I don't know why. I don't know if we had an off night or what, but Utah does have some really good, talented guards. You know what I mean? With Brown and those guys. Like, those guys are really good scorers. It's just they don't have a good team around them. But yeah, outside of that, nobody has really been able to get to the paint on West Virginia very much. But it's because they're so packed in, the rotations, if they're not spot on, you can be hit with catch and shoot threes, which is what you saw the game that you were telling me, like, oh, you guys go up the same kind of shots we do.
Yep.
It seems like West teams shoot a higher percentage versus West Virginia. So if you have really good catch and shoot three guys, this could be a game where that could happen.
Yeah, that's it. We don't drive. I mean, we do have Jalen Curry who can get in the lane. We have Kanye Cleary who can do some facilitating. But let's face it, we're a team that likes to jack it up from the three. The problem with that is it's kind of like, having a high octane no huddle offense. Is you put your defense on the field a ton. If you don't score, it's kind of the same concept. When you're not making threes and you're a 3-ball oriented team, you're probably not going to win. But again, this is why there's at least a little bit of hope in Cowboy country. If there is a game where Anthony Roy and Victorious Miller can both get hot, yeah, we like our chances. But the problem is that hasn't happened once this year. That both of those guys were on the same page. I'm talking about to beat Arizona. Like, you're going to have 30 out of Anthony Roy. You're going to have 20 of Victorious Miller. You're going to have 20 out of Parsa Fallah. And we just haven't been able to string that together as a cohesive unit yet. And again, the players know that this is a gut check time. This is a game that every Cowboy is paying attention to see if this team still gives a hoot, if this team is still dialed in any capacity to finish the season strong. If they are, we should see a good version of the Cowboys tonight. If not, then it could get ugly quick.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, defense travels, and I think West Virginia's defense could travel in this game. Still a top 10 defense in the country. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we have one of the better scoring defenses in the country, where it's around 63 points allowed per game. Obviously, Oklahoma State wants this thing to be chaotic. They wanted to get into the 80s, 80 plus.
Yes.
But over your recent skid, your offense has cooled off significantly. Shooting has dipped, 3-point efficiency has dipped, and they've looked more ordinary on the court. What do you attribute that to? Is it just getting cool? Is it slump? Is it, like you said, do they give a hoot? What do you think it is?
I just think they're not on the same page. I firmly believe that we've got players that I don't want to say that they don't necessarily get along, but they're not close on the court. And it's pretty visible that we have no cohesion on the court. We have individual talent. Era. Say what?
The portal era.
Yeah, and I did kind of talk about this the other day, which is why Oklahoma State fans need to calm down a little bit on Steve Lutz getting run out of town. This is only year 2, right? He was hired late last year, so he didn't exactly get the portal class that I'm sure that he wanted. He got the portal guys he wanted this season, but they're not buying into something. Next season is going to be heavily relying on the All-American freshmen that we have coming in. When you have a top 10 recruiting class, it's pretty easy to get somewhat excited. And there is a different investment level, right? If you've been to 5-6 schools, like somebody like an Anthony Roy, you can love your experience in Stillwater. You can love Gallagher-Iba, but it's not going to be quite the same. A freshman is going through all of the recruiting processes, right? So these guys like Montanati and Allman, they're turning down the Illinois and the Tennessees and the Floridas of the world to come to Oklahoma State because of that investment level. Next season, if we're seeing the same thing out of Steve Lutz, then yeah, perhaps it's time to explore whether this was the right hire or not. But yeah, the buy-in from this roster doesn't seem to be visible on the court. That's it.
And this is year one, right, for Steve Lutz, or is this year two?
Year two.
Year two, okay. Yeah, I can see why maybe next year would be your barometer for that. Obviously, this is year one for Ross Hodge. And you wouldn't believe, but a lot of West Virginia fans want him. Not a lot, but there is a contingent of those fans that kind of want him out because the offense has been so bad. And it has been bad at times this year. But at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, but you guys are 7-7 in the conference and still within reach of an NCAA tournament. Like
it's
crazy.
Just been the offense. Like we had a 12-minute stretch we went without scoring in a game. You know what I mean? So it's been that bad. It's the worst I've ever seen in my life. So our defense is that good. That's how, I mean, to be honest with you, if we had just an average offense, we probably a 21 or 22 win team. But we just don't have it. We just don't have it. Like, you know, we rely on one or two guys. And if Honor Huff's not on, it's a rough night for us. If he's on, we've won almost every game. So it really comes down to that. And I think teams have understand that, which is why coming off the ball screen. And here's another thing we got to go to break. But for next season, I think the next level up for this offense has to be a stretch big. In this day and age, it's almost a requirement to have one, right? And we don't. And so you've got Honor Huff. You put the ball in his hands and you run him off a screen, and both guys trap every single time. He's 5'10". Got to get rid of the ball. Sometimes he'll step out and hit a three, even be at the logo distance. But, I mean, you know, he led all of college basketball in three-point shots last year and will be in the top 5 this year. But, you know, unfortunately, that he has to give the ball up. Well, we don't have a great movement when that happens, and we've got guys standing around the three-point line, and we have a big that is 7 feet tall, or in some cases, you know, not comfortable with the ball in this situation. And it's just, you know, if we had the pressure release valve of a big that can spray it, Honor Huff would be a lot more free to do things. It's just the way it is. Going to break here. Cody, I want to know what your keys to this game are. What's that going to look like? How do the Pokes win this game? What's that look like if they do? I'll talk about West Virginia's side, and we'll get into a prediction and score. And if we have time, maybe a little football too. We'll be back right here on a Locked On Oklahoma State and Locked On West Virginia crossover. And of course, guys, we can't forget about our friends from Mazda. Right now with Mazda, if you didn't know, now you know. We love talking it because this is Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who show, there's more to the score than what's on the screen. These remind us of what it really takes to raise the bar. It takes extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving it that extra fire, that grit, and I never quit. We put the same passion in every model. Highlights make the real. What it took to get there makes it count. And there's more to a Mazda, Cody, because there's more to you.
There's more to me.
And, of course, we can't forget about our friends at FanDuel, can we?
That's
and
right.
Now
Capitalization season.
Yeah. Are you going to read FanDuel?
I'm down.
Okay.
Well, the NBA Finals is a one-off kind of experience that probably a lot of us haven't got to. The NBA Sweepstakes is here for you. Here's how it works. You use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. Flights, tickets, the whole shebang, it's covered for you. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is a perfect time to lock it in. I know we've been watching Cade Cunningham do his thing. You're going to love the futures this time of year as well, whether it's picking the team you think is going to win it all, grab a conference title. It adds that extra layer of excitement simply because of your investment level. And now you can take your cash, but you can also Use it to get sent to the NBA Finals. Make sure that you visit FanDuel.com to get started today. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals for two. Make sure that you play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
And, of course, here in segment 2, this news for you, Cody. Tell everybody what you're up to these days. Obviously, at Oklahoma State, every day, I'm assuming you're reporting.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of, licking my wounds in some sports. I'm celebrating Cowboy wrestling right now after what we just did to Iowa. I don't want to talk about the Cowgirl basketball.
Why? I was going to bring it up.
No. Let's not do that. Matter of fact, if you guys wanted to, shake things up a bit, just have your ladies take the court tonight against our Cowboys, and that defense will probably give us a hard time.
Yeah, Mark Kellogg, man.
Goodness gracious.
It's very much Press Virginia-esque, isn't it? And
it was beautiful to watch, but it also required a lot of whiskey to finish.
Yeah. Did you remember? They'll probably they'll be in the running for one of the sports stories of the year. Do you remember the Greenbrier 5 that happened against Duke a few months ago, where West Virginia women's team had everybody kicked off? They got into there was a shoving match, and the entire West Virginia ladies bench cleared. And so this was in the first half. And so they only had 5 players for the entire game.
How did I miss this?
I don't know. It's one of the biggest stories. Look up the Greenbrier 5. And so basically what happened was Duke, top 10 team or top 15 team at the time, they're playing in Greenbrier at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, neutral court. And there was a shoving match, and the entire ladies bench cleared. And so the only 5 that could play the game were the 5 that were on the court. And so they had foul trouble. It was incredible. It was a really close game. And then they ended up pulling away and beating a top 15 Duke team with just 5 players. They had to play the entire game that way. It was crazy. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that evidently you guys run cross country meets for practice.
Yeah. That's one of the things that they talked about in the post game was we're just very lucky that we're in such great shape. It was a crazy story, and it wasn't, at the time they just subbed out for 2 of the starters. So 2 of the girls were bench players. It was 3 starters, 2 bench players, or something along those lines. I can't remember now, but even the people on ESPN or whoever were calling, I think it was ESPN at the time, they knew it was a big story.
That makes me feel a little better, because I've never seen a JC Hoyt team get absolutely run out of the gym like that ever.
Yeah. Well, Mark Kellogg's probably going to be. He's won 27 games 3 seasons in a row. West Virginia should have beat the Caitlin Clark Iowa team. They lost that game by 1 possession the year they went to the national championship game. So he's had us on the precipice. He's put multiple girls into the WNBA right now. So I do think that he's going to be a highly sought after. This is the truth. I used him as one of our candidates for our men's team when the job came open. I honestly felt like he would have been a good fit. I really do. I still think that. I think he's that good of a coach. I'm glad we have Ross Hodge. I think he's going to do fine. But I do think Mark Kellogg is an elite coach, and we'll be lucky to keep him much longer. But, he's a Texas A&M alum, so if that job comes open, I'll be waiting for that. So we'll see. Keys to the game, man. Obviously, we kind of haven't gotten into obviously West Virginia fans don't really know a lot about Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State fans probably don't know a lot about West Virginia. So I've got a couple of things here really quick, just a profile on each team. You give me some keys, okay?
Hit me, Goose.
Both teams are 16-11, but you're 4-10 in the Big 12. West Virginia's 7-7. Yeah. You guys are 13-4 at home, so you play really well at Gallagher-Iba. Away, you're 1-6, so you're a really bad road team. You're also scoring 83.6 points per game at home, but you also give up 81. So that's why I'm saying West Virginia should be able to score tonight for the most part. Unfortunately, How many games have you guys lost in a row?
3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
and a couple of them were games you should not lose. Like, I'm sorry, we should not be messing around losing to Colorado. It should not.
Well,
happen.
Our Utah lost worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you guys got actually Utah played you guys really tough as well. I remember that game.
Correct.
Just like I said, Utah is in the context of the Big 12 not a bad team really.
Well, and losing to Arizona State, I thought was embarrassing, but now they're kind of going on a little run here.
That's what I'm saying. And Utah could go on a little run now that they beat us. Who knows? You mentioned that Anthony Roy has made 77 threes on the year. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think he's averaging like 17.2 per game, something to that effect. Parsa Fallah is probably 15.5 or 14.5, 15 points a game.
Oregon State transfer.
Yeah.
I know him well.
Bro, if there's anybody on this roster that we could keep, to me, it would hands down be Parsa Fallah. Unfortunately, he's a 5th-year senior.
Yeah.
And it stinks, man. Like, in this wild world where football players are getting 8-9 years, it would be nice if we could find a way to squeeze an extra year out of Parsa, because he is the captain of the team. When he's not in the game, we are a different ball club. And I think everything feeds through Parsa. But as it pertains to this particular ball game, I mentioned Anthony Roy. He's got to stay hot. We need 20 points from Victorious Miller. Like that, he is the next guy in line other than Anthony Roy that is clearly going to take the most shots. And he's disappeared in a couple games. In a couple of our losses, he's scoring like 5-7 points. When the beginning of the season, him scoring 14 and Anthony Roy scoring 30 was something that was happening. And it looked like Victorious Miller could easily be somebody that was a contributor at 15 plus a game, and that has not happened.
It's a pretty cool first name.
Victorious? Well, it's Master P's son. Victorious Miller is Master P's son.
Well, then how much time has he got left? Because you need NIL.
He's only a sophomore. We have a lot of Victorious Miller time.
Wait a second. Never mind. What am I thinking? He's probably about broke now after everything he's gone through.
Master P? No, bro. He owns portions of a bunch of different kinds of companies, I believe. I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure he still has like proprietary rights in some of these major record labels. But anywho, we need Victorious and Anthony Roy to both get hot. Another big thing is obviously defense. We're last place in the Big 12 in defense. We're one of the last couple ranked defenses in the United States of America, so not just the Big 12. We struggle defensively, like really bad. And some of it just simply looks like effort. Again, I love Anthony Roy, but the dude doesn't play defense. I'm sorry, right? Can he give us 30 points? Yes, but we kind of need him to, because we know he's going to give up 20 as well. And so we need to see some defensive effort out of some of the stars. And then lastly, rebounds. That's what killed us against Arizona State. That's what killed us against Colorado. We were outperforming them in a lot of stretches. But anytime you give a team 2, 3, 4 second chance opportunities, they're eventually going to cash that in. And that has been the biggest glaring need I've seen in the last few games is our defense has sucked all year, right? So that's kind of, you accepted at that point. You just hope to outscore people. But getting out rebounded and giving teams second chance opportunities when you do stop them, that's the most maddening thing that's happening. We got to rebound tonight. We got to attempt to play defense, and we need both Victorious Miller and Anthony Roy to get hot.
Interesting. I'll say it's going to be interesting for West Virginia, obviously. There's so many things that I could say. I'll say this for sure. West Virginia cannot, and this has been a broken record the last couple games. West Virginia's had, last game was much better, but West Virginia's had really slow starts to the game, and I'm talking really slow, like first 5 minutes without scoring type slow. The fact that your defense is porous makes me feel better about the potential of that. So, that's obviously going to be an interesting part of the game of West Virginia, because if you guys start out hot, it could kill us right away, like any kind of hope we have, right? So, and if you're Oklahoma State, you've got to be thinking that way. Like, we need to get them out of the game early.
Yep.
Turnovers, I think, are going to be interesting because West Virginia forces people into a lot, and it gets a team that wants pace. Turnovers, can turn into runouts. And
Yep.
One of the big changes I've heard that West Virginia is exploring is using a little more Brennan Lorient and a little more Chance Moore, who are elite athletes that can hit their chin off the rim, literally.
Okay.
So, like athletically, I think West Virginia really matches up well in this game. Because West Virginia's got a bunch of 6'7" and 6'8" just men out there. But unfortunately, they're not great scorers, right? Brendan Lorient can be a great scorer. Chance Moore can really get to the rim. Like, he's one of those guys that can't shoot it, but he is a freight train heading to the rim. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. But keys wise, West Virginia's got to win the rebounding battle. I think they will. I also think that Parsa Fallah will be shut down in this game just because of the nature of the way we play defense, which probably means your outside guys will have a bigger role to play. Just my opinion. We've really played well against bigs this year, whether that's Lorient or Obioha, our 7-footer. And then lastly, we just have to either get Eagle Staff or Huff going, right? I think one of the two. Eagle Staff has been, unfortunately, the biggest. I mean, he's been one of the biggest disappointments maybe in the league this year. Obviously, he scored 51 points in a game last year. He scored 40 against Alabama. He averaged 20 points a game, and he's averaging 9 a game, and has openly talked about his mental health being difficult with all the noise. So it's a lot of pressure on him. I think the length and everything at the Big 12 level has just been tough for him. But so there's that. So I think this is going to be a really interesting game. I'm excited about it. It's a 7 p.m. tip-off Eastern time. What time is it for you guys? 6?
Yeah.
So very going to be fun, man.
Well, dude, just based off of what you were talking about, that I pulled up Big12stats.com, and you're giving me some hope too, right? Because our turnover margin is about the exact same, right? You're 9th in the Big 12 or 11th in the Big 12. Your assist to turnover ratio, however, is dead last in the Big 12, and we are 6th in the conference in rebounding. You guys are 13th in the conference in rebounding. So there's some areas where Oklahoma State can find some success in this ball game. I just, I don't know if we're ever going to see. I'm almost giving up on seeing our two shooters get hot on the same night.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this too. The reason West Virginia's assist turnover and all that is so bad is because of West Virginia is also dead last in possessions per game. So think about West Virginia, you'll see tonight, is the definition of they're in the to use a football terminology, they're in the 4-minute offense all the time. They dribble the ball up the court. They initiate it about 10 seconds, and they get a shot somewhere inside of 6-3. That's every possession. Every possession is down to the last couple seconds of the clock, and they take the last shot. So by the nature of the way we play offense, our assist to turnover ratio was not going to be great. But we do turn it over because our possessions are so low. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have as many opportunities for assists as other teams.
It's going to be interesting because we definitely want to turn it into. I hope we want to turn it into a track meet. I mean, that's another thing that's what we've been all season. This last couple games, I don't know why. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's changed. But it does seem like Steve Lutz has made a concerted effort to do more half-court sets, and I don't think that's been an advantageous route. So I would expect us in this game to shelve that and go back to just trying to turn this thing into a crazy, wild track meet, which is crazy to think because that's what West Virginia was under Huggy Bear. It was a wild you were going to have to defend the entire court. You were going to have to play the entire court for the entire time, much like your ladies team, man.
It's funny how similar they are. One more break here, and then we'll come back, and maybe I'll just 1 or 2 football questions if you don't care, Cody, after prediction. Is that cool with you?
We can talk about whatever, buddy.
All right, we'll be right back here on Locked On West Virginia, Locked On Oklahoma State crossover. Be right back. Of course, we can't forget about our friends, and we do love our friends, don't we? We have great friends at Indeed. Indeed, as I like to say. Indeed. Indubitably is a good one. Guys, right now with Indeed, they're doing some pretty cool things. And if you've got workplace chaos, Deadlines are stacking up and inboxes overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need to find the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your posts, right? So here's the stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, you can spend less time searching, more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Like I said, spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less time, less stress, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listener of this show will get, and Oklahoma State's as well, will get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about it on Locked On West Virginia or Locked On Oklahoma State. Indeed.com/podcast, where the terms and conditions apply. Do you need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
Indeed it is.
I read that with enthusiasm.
You nailed it. You nailed it, man.
Nailed it. Speaking of nailing it, hopefully West Virginia can nail it tonight on the road in a hostile environment. What's your crowd's been like since you guys have been up and down? Not great. Yeah.
It's been embarrassing. And I covered this yesterday, right? We've been hearing, and there's been Oklahoma State fans that have been embracing this, that the reason that Gallagher-Iba attendance has been down is because the Oklahoma City Thunder and how successful they've been and this and that and the other. I've been basically yelling at a brick wall for years saying, I don't think that has a lot to do with it. Does it factor somewhat? Yeah, I'm sure it does. But when you see 12,700, 12,600, 13,000 in the building for wrestling at Gallagher-Iba Arena, it's not an attendance problem. It's not an arena problem. It's a product problem. It's the people don't want to come to Gallagher-Iba to turn that place into what it can be, what it used to be. Gallagher-Iba is a Fog Allen experience, and you're seeing that in wrestling. I mean, Iowa just got absolutely drugged through the mud 7 ways from Sunday, and that hasn't happened since like 1960 that we beat Iowa that bad. And part of it is because when you put almost 13,000 people in a building, it changes the environment and the atmosphere. So unfortunately, I don't think the crowd will be much of a factor tonight. I mean, there might still be 6,000, 7,000-ish people in there, but not enough to sway the game, unfortunately.
Right. Well, lay it out there for me really quick. Give me your predictions.
I think I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we're going to win, but all right, but it's a must win. So I'm going to chug some orange Kool-Aid positivity hopium right now and say that the Cowboys do find a way to embrace the gut check and prove that some of these guys are not checked out and prove that they can play somewhat cohesive basketball. And this is the time to do it. I think the Cowboys get a dub in Gallagher-Iba. It's at least a possibility. My heart says it ain't going to happen, but my head says we're playing for something. And if we show up the right way, we can definitely get this dub here. And I think we know that we're in a good position, right? If you beat West Virginia, who's a teetering tournament team, right? And you beat Cincinnati, who's a same exact record, 7-7 in the conference. They just knocked off KU. They're looking at a tournament opportunity. Then we have UCF, and then we finish with Houston. If it's a massive if, right? But if Oklahoma State were to get on a run and win these 4 games, we are right back in this tournament conversation. And then if you win a game in the Big 12 tournament, bada boom, bada bing, bada bang, you're dancing, baby. And that's what I think that has to be the conversation in the locker room. Because of the schedule, we still have a chance. If we were ending the season with, Colorado and Utah, this wouldn't even be a conversation. We'd have no shot. But we're ending the season with West Virginia, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. That gives us a chance. So I'm saying there's a chance.
I'm in the same boat. I'll make it short and sweet. I really do think West Virginia gets off the snide tonight. I do. After speaking with who I spoke to, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. And if I am, I am. But, and people that watch the show know this, and probably watch your show too. I'm very optimistic when it comes to not only Oklahoma State, but West Virginia, as far as in football this year. I was really optimistic on you guys when I covered the show, and and I still am, and I am on West Virginia basketball turning this thing around to some extent. I still think we'll probably be an NIT team, but and I don't know if we'll accept it. That's a whole other conversation, but I do think we get off the snide tonight. I think you guys are the teams that give us trouble are teams with really, really lengthy and elite defenses that can't handle, our smaller guards that are quick and unfortunately can really spray you. But, we have been really cold and against when we were really good early this year, it was, we were beating even really good defensive teams because they were hot. It's been a really long slump, about 7 or 8 games. You're either going to break out of it or you're not. And we're just hoping that Honor Huff has one of those 6, 8, he's had 7, 8 3-point games a couple times this year. Eagle Staff has had a 6 3-point game. Lorient and company have had a couple, games where they've hit a few threes. DJ Thomas, a freshman off the bench, has been really good. So we'll see, but I would love to see a couple of these guys just come on tonight. I think West Virginia wins this one. I'm going to go 64-60. I think our defense really plays well tonight. There we go.
If it's not in the 80s, we probably don't have much of a chance. So I'm going to say like 87-85 Cowboys.
All right. So real quick here, and then I want you to ask me a West Virginia one. So be thinking of that while I'm thinking of this question here. I already know the question because I prepared it before the show. Obviously, I covered the Pokes, and I was there for all your portal editions, and I really dug deep, right? Like, I know your roster almost as well as you do. I wouldn't say as well as you. I would never say that. But I did get to know it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel in a weird position.
Oh, no, you did. I hooked you up with some parents and stuff. You did. You got some skinny.
You did. So I feel like I qualified to answer this or to ask this question because I think you signed a small class, only 13 incoming freshmen, right? And there are going to be 6 that join later in the summer. Mm-hmm. But I think the staff was pretty pleased with what you put together quickly. So I'm going to give you the most likely candidates that I think freshman breakouts. And you let me know if I'm wrong about any of those, or you pick one or two that you really like. Braden Presley, obviously we know, is a Bixby product, and I really liked him when I watched his tape. You've got Katie Jones as well, who's could I think has got a lot of ability. If you go watch his film, he's a son of a Oklahoma player, so I think he could be something interesting. There's Malik Bracey, obviously, who you guys lost. Who was it? Cale Smith.
Yeah, but we got one of them back.
Okay. Jabari Thornton, originally committed to you before Gundy was even fired.
Was originally committed to Baylor, and we stole him from Baylor.
Right, but he was committed to Oklahoma State, at least on my research, before Mike Gundy was fired.
Yeah.
Then he committed to Baylor, and then he came back, I think is what happened.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, you've got Nigel Farsi, who obviously is just a load at 6'2", 310 pounds. What are your thoughts there?
So Katie Batman Jones is the highlight, right? You kind of covered it with everybody talking about Caleb Hawkins. Katie Batman Jones is coming in to be that lightning package to Caleb Hawkins' thunder package. And like Katie Batman Jones is good enough as a true freshman to produce, 300-400 yards as a true freshman and be a big contributor in the wide receiver game. Braden Presley, he's the third Presley brother to come through the doors of Oklahoma State. Obviously, Brendan Presley's with the Rams right now, but he's completely different, right? His other brothers were small. They were shifty. They were slot receivers. He's a big 6'2", 190-pound defensive back that could play some offense, that has a ton of upside and athleticism in the family that we already know. Malik Bracey is a fun one because I was kind of upset to see him jump out of his commitment to Oklahoma State. because again, he's not one of these guys that I think could grow into a Kendall Daniels type of situation, have the ability to play multiple positions, linebacker, safety, free safety, strong safety, whatever the case is. I think he has the cerebral capabilities to understand the different nuances schematically to do all three of those as well. And those three guys really accentuate what this class is for Eric Morris.
Very interesting. You got a question for me or not?
Well, I on the West Virginia side of things, you guys have had 2 years of hardcore, heavy portal. So therefore, by process of numerical, limitations, you guys were kind of limited on your high school class as well. So I guess I basically could flip it to you. If you were to highlight one freshman that you think could come in and start day one, the minute fall camp kicks in, who's that guy for you? Because for me, it's probably going to be Katie Batman Jones, playing secondary to Caleb Hawkins.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy question, and I would imagine most West Virginia fans would say it's the Adonis himself. Obviously, we were very lucky he decommitted from Penn State, 94 rated, almost 5-star, the number 2 offensive line prospect in all of high school football, Kevin Brown, will start as a true freshman, and it's not even close. He was paid to come in and start. He is a legacy player. His dad played at West Virginia. And, our guy from Locked On Portal, Brian Smith, told me he's one of the best offensive line prospects he's ever seen in person. So,
well, that's saying something.
And not to mention
these guys every day.
Our West Virginia football week 3 top numbers. He is the strongest person in every single lift on the entire team as a true freshman.
I
don't know if that's good or bad.
Here's some of the comments that Kevin Brown counts as 2 men.
He's that good, Cody. Like, I'm talking about, he's got a chance to be like a Jordan Seaton type player for us. Literally. Like, I'm not even overhyping it. The only reason he didn't get 5-star was because of where he played. He played for Harrisburg in Pennsylvania, which is a really good high school. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't go prep. He didn't do the camp circuit thing very much.
Yep.
They just know what they had in him. They know he was going to be. He had offers from every school in the nation, not one. So didn't want him. The only reason we got him is because Rich Rod, his dad Tim, played for Rich Rod. That's it. That's the connection. Had it not been for that, he wasn't coming to West Virginia. Guess what happened? And we'll get out of here because we're running over. You've got this amazing kid here, and you know what they wanted to do when Dana Holgerson was in West Virginia? They wanted to come up and visit West Virginia and spend a day. Will exactly. Kevin Brown will get the extra yard this year for those listening on audio. Somebody put that in the comments. But Dana Holgerson turned down and kicked out Tim Brown, a former West Virginia player, and his son Kevin, who turned out to be basically a 5-star player, which, I mean, it's barely a smidgen in points off. Maybe he's a 4-star player, but I mean, he should be 5 in my opinion. They kicked him out of practice. And so Kevin Brown grew up with a really bad taste in his mouth for West Virginia because of what Dana Holgerson did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how dumb can you be not to invite your legacy? Can you not think far enough ahead to think that maybe your legacy, offensive lineman is bringing his mammoth 6th grade son in, whatever it was, that is already one of the best players on his team, might be good in a couple of years. Maybe he just didn't care.
We all know that Dana loves his Red Bull. What we don't know is how often he inserts the vodka and what time of the day he inserts the vodka. So, I mean,
yeah,
maybe we should give Dana a pass. Maybe he was a little extra Red Bulled up that day. All right.
Thank you so much for listening, guys, and listen to me gripe about that. Cody, I thank you for doing the crossover with me.
Hey, talk about the Everydayer Club, because I think I found my link finally.
Okay. Before we go, guys, obviously we do want to promote the Locked On Everydayer Club, which is obviously an initiative at Locked On that we are very excited about. And if you're not sure what it is, if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Oklahoma State and Locked On West Virginia. You can get ad-free audio. You get a members-only Discord server and more. The link that Cody's going to share which you can put it in the chat as well, is right there for you guys. It's Locked On Podcasts with an S / Everydayer Club. So if you go to Locked On Podcasts with an S.com / Everydayer Club, you can be part of it. We would really appreciate if some of you guys would go check that out, please. All right, guys. Also, Locked On College Football, Spencer McLaughlin. The golden voice, man. He's got one heck of a voice he was blessed with. He covers Locked On Ducks and Locked On College Football, does a great job. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video as well. For Cody and for myself, he wants you to fire them pistols every day, but I can't let you forget to cue them country roads.